Welcome to For Love and Play. I'm matchmaker comic Yael Meisels. With me is comedians Keenan Weaver and Louie B. For Love and Play, the show about dating like a goddamn adult. We're going to discuss who to spend your time with for love or for play. Let's do it, boys.
This show contains adult content for entertainment purposes. Listener discretion is advised.
Not a doctor.
All right, thank you for listening to For Love and Play. I'm your host, Keenan Weaver, back with my favorite people, the Queen, Yael, girl. What's going on?
Happy Saturday, everybody. Excited to be here. We got an awesome topic. Woo-hoo, weather's beautiful.
Louie B, no title necessary.
That's right, because I am the king and the emperor
That's a
of
title.
your lives. Well, no, it's more of a statement of fact.
Got it. Well, today, we got a good topic. An article came out again. We're not really going to talk about the article, though, because we are of that article. And it's about dating comics. So, Louie, tell people how they can join in the conversation.
This is what I need you people to do. Go to our Facebook, facebook.com/forloveandplay. It's spelled all the way out for the number 4, love, A-N-D, play. You guys could also follow us on Twitter with the same handle, For Love and Play, or you could email us at forloveandplay.gmail.com.
All right. So, as I said, there's an article that went around the comedy community about how horrible it is to date comics. So, I wanted to talk about it because we should all have an opinion because all three of us are comics. So, when you read the article, were you offended? You agree? Just an overall gist.
Personally, I agree.
Louie?
Well, as you know, as someone that doesn't want to shoot himself in the foot and make my personal dating pool even smaller.
You do agree. Okay. So the gist of this was basically comics are narcissistic people that aren't mature enough to handle real-world conversations or real-world interactions. They always try to be the star of the room, always try to get the laugh, and never gives a real human emotion connection to anything in a relationship. Was that a good estimation of that article?
Yeah.
And you all agree.
Well, I mean, some parts of that article didn't apply to me, but it's the whole, performing everywhere. That's been a problem for me. That's not even within the realm of dating and whatnot. It's I went to go get blood drawn today before we did the show, and I pretty much went into the bathroom to give a urine sample. And I was making fun of this lady, saying, "Damn, she blew this place apart." I was making the nurse laugh. I'm like, "Wow, it stinks so bad in here. It's like concentrated racism." I was atrocious, and even though I got the laugh, which some people smoke crack, some people shoot up. I need to make someone laugh, or else Louie B is I need to get my fix.
Yeah, it's important.
So, for me, I honestly, this is probably a problem, but I honestly try to pride myself in not being what we deem the stereotypical type comic, which is the self-deprecating, self-loathing, hate some part of their life, so that's what drives them to the stage. I try to hold on to the fact that I've been in the corporate world for 10 years. Now I'm doing comedy. I try to make sure that I teeter on whatever fence that is. So when I read this, I was like, oh yeah, that was just me all the time. and then I realized that's probably what drove me to comedy. But why? First thing of the conversation, the article came from the perspective of a comic, which to me holds no validity. It's like, you are a comic. How are you going to explain what it's like dating a comic? You have the utmost understanding level of the whole arena. I want to hear the article or the response from those relationships that are out there that are working or maybe not working, but it's of a comic with a civilian. And civilian is what we call people that are not comics.
I went on a date with a civilian last night.
It's almost like normals. It's like we call them mortals.
Yeah, we call them funchies, functionals.
I don't know. See, like, I'm dating a comic and a civilian, so...
Because you're in threesomes, that doesn't...
Real.
We're not talking about that today, yeah.
And the truth comes out, finally.
Oh, Lord.
We call it all three-way measles.
I'm not, like, come on now. It doesn't have to be dirty. It's not dirty. Not dirty.
Yeah, no, it's not. She has one guy clean her
Stop. No.
Her bathroom.
No.
Her
Don't
little,
even.
her little
Dodge it.
bathroom.
Don't drop it.
And the other guy cooks for her.
How can he be both a comic and a civilian?
No, I'm dating a comic and a civilian.
Oh, wow.
I'm saying I'm casually dating two people.
Got it.
And one of them is a comedian, one of them is not.
Mm-hmm.
What differences are you noticing between the personalities that you can attribute to just him being a comic? Not that their personalities of course are different because they're different.
It was like, and again, we're not. It's still in the like getting to know you friendship stage. Just his overall, I usually find another comic funny. I don't know, because I don't know. I think it's funny. It's something, I don't know. I usually find them funnier to me. In a one-on-one, in like a non-comedian person, I usually find like I'm funnier to them. Like I make them laugh more than they make me laugh, but that's not in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to laugh my ass off all the time.
Right. So, to this article, there was another article that was a retort.
Speaking of which one gets it? No.
This one was written by a comic, but this one was in a relationship with another comic. And in that, she said that there's a level of competition when you're dating a comic to be the funniest in the relationship.
Yep.
You see that?
Yep.
Now, I honestly, again, we actually have talked about interracial dating previously off air, and I've said that I don't really interracial date. And again, I have no experience dating a comic because I don't date comics. You two are well more versed in that arena than it. And the reason I don't date comics is just because it's too close to home. Like I don't want to be able to see you at any time.
That's a healthy comic.
That sounded horrible, but it's so true.
I think a healthy comic is the best person to date. Like a heavy personality needs a heavy personality. Like a heavy personality needs a heavy personality. You know what I'm saying? You don't want
that. And I also
a lighter person and a heavier person mixing. It doesn't mix well usually.
That's true. And I also
I would need someone more eccentric, if you can imagine such things.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, definitely. And it's part of...
less eccentric. I could be the heavier personality of the two, but it doesn't... Someone who has that sparkle to them, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
They need a North David star.
I need a North David star.
Sparkle in their personality.
North David. My friend Sarah said it best. I need someone both physically and aesthetically Jewish, like visible signs of Judaism.
Yeah.
You know, I need to racially profile that shit correctly. We don't want some Greek person getting their heart broken.
No, because that starts wars. Can we talk about that? Is it too soon? Too soon. My fault. We'll move on. I can't see the appeal for comics dating comics though, and part of it is when you're not a comic, no one else really understands this game.
Right.
It's something, even me, I've started 2 successful businesses in IT, sold them for some profit. I've done some really hard, difficult things. And comedy is a whole different world. It's by far the hardest thing I've ever attempted to do.
Yeah.
And for that, you can't even really fathom the things your date, if you are dating a comic and you're not. It'll be hard for you to really fathom the struggles of just the everyday life of being a comedy, the business side of it. Right, and
I think, but like also, I think people don't realize it's even when you're not making a paycheck doing it, people do it. It's like they're answering a calling in their soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is definitely, comedy is one of those professions that it's like, it chooses you.
Yeah.
It definitely chooses you. And my personal journey to it is proof of that. Because I honestly never wanted to be in any form of entertainment. I never wanted to be comic wasn't my dream growing up. I don't have that same story that you hear from specifically a lot of black comics. Like, I saw Eddie Murphy when I was growing up, and at that point, I knew I wanted to do this. Like I saw Eddie Murphy, and then I went back and played with my Spider-Man action figure. Like, that was, I could care less. But somehow, I got drawn into the community. How did you guys handle your calling to comedy?
Oh shit. My whole life, since I was a little girl, and I was, like you, I did not dream. I was a person who, like, wanted, but never would have thought. But, like, I feel like that I just, at a certain age, started getting, like, realizing I actually do have the power to change things in my environment within myself and what happens to me. And everyone my whole life thought I was funny. The way that I would word things and put things together, the way I would describe certain situations, how I would try to make a bad situation positive, like, well, Mom, well, see the dog? The dog is not here. Like, the dog escaped from the house. I guess the way I put words together was funny. So, but I never thought, I appreciated stand-up comedy. I think I followed it a lot, but I never thought to do it. And my rabbi of all people, I used to see when I lived in the same neighborhood. I would see them every week, and they would just die laughing, and we would have regular conversations around the Shabbat dinner table. And it was really kind of, I want to say where I learned what my humor was. I learned that my humor was heavily Semitic, that there were lots of blends between how I grew up and how I live now. I grew up in a black neighborhood, and now I live in a black neighborhood, but I've always been the white Jew that's existed in both of these worlds. So for me, it was almost like answering a calling, and my divorce is what did it for me. So many people for years said, no, you're so funny, I would pay to see you. I would pay, and I mean, I probably the first 3 or 4 months was like spitting out pain, just trying to make sense of my divorce. And then I wrote a joke. This is when I realized I might be onto something. I wrote a joke about a fellow comedian who I think is the 8th sexiest Jewish man alive. And this was kind of when I would say my joke telling was becoming less about how sad and upset I was over being divorced with 2 children. They were starting to like branch out into other topics that were more vanilla, I guess you could say. So how do you write a joke? Well, I think this boy is so sexy. Like, he's Jewish, he's that, I know I could fuck him. Like, this is an attainable goal. So I started telling that joke, and people started identifying with it. And I ended up somewhat having a situation with this person who I thought was good looking. So I started to realize that it turned into a higher calling. I didn't realize by talking about a boy that I had a crush on, I was calling the attention of the universe to look in my direction that I might be funny, please God, for a living. And then I started doing a little bit of bringer shows. I started doing comedy truly in the slices of free time between raising my children, and I started making the best of every show, where I have certain opportunity and blessings, thank God, that people who've done stand-up hardcore in the street, pounding in the face stand-up, pounding the pavement, I've had more opportunity than them because they've had a lot of lagging. There's been a lot of practice and a lot of not taking it serious like a business, and kind of my approach and tassel to it was always, like, once I started realizing I actually can do this, I took it on more of like with a professional mindset. Like, I love to do this. I like to make money. I'm going to make these 2 things work. I'm going to make sure that because I don't have that street time that another comic has, when I bring it, I'm going to be bringing it hard, son. You're getting Biggie. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't get to travel much, but when he does, he's Biggie, but he's fucking Biggie Smalls. That's what you're getting. When I do a show, I have practiced, rehearsed, and written and rewritten and done it I'm saying to make sure it's the best, because I don't have, it's like, what if you have to win a marathon, but you only have time to jog in your free time? You have to be a person who's willing to fight harder because of your hang-ups. And my hang-up that stands in my way is the availability to do this aggressively because I have a family to raise. So I have to make it harder. Like, I have to bring it harder than your average comic to compensate for that loss. But it's still something I feel like I want to do and I have to do and I was pushed to do.
Okay. Dewey, what about your calling? The demon inside.
I have to say this in song.
How long is this song?
Coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Basically, that's how it was for me. It's one day someone who will remain unnamed introduced me to open mics. I've been talking shit my whole entire life. Started doing the Crotch Shot radio show and talking shit on there and you know, talking politics and trying to be, you know, as offensive as possible. Built a following, you know, of people that still follow me on that show. And yeah, then you know, someone introduced me to the world of comedy, and it's like this was what I was meant to do. This is what feeds my soul. This is what makes me happy. Ain't no one can tell me you're not funny, cause you know what? Fuck them and fuck where they came from and fuck the horse they rode in on. This is me. This is me. When I'm on stage, I own that motherfucker. So it's. Are you fapping?
I was coughing.
Oh, you were. Okay. I thought somebody started jerking off. All right. I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
And it's over.
Yeah.
So, do you wanna get into your story of how you making change in the comedy realm? I think that's a perfect time to segue into that.
What do you mean making change?
Well, like, my jokes are unstealable. My jokes are unstealable. They're unstealable. They can't be. The shit that I bump into in life is so rare and unique. You couldn't steal these jokes. You'd only have to be living this nightmare. They're unstealable. You guys hear that pounding in the background? That is people. That is 2 people that live in this house that are 4 years old, pounding in the middle of a Saturday.
Well, imagine when they're 18.
I mean, I have the right by law to have 2 people in my house. They're my children. If you have 2 people in your house, we need to call the police.
Yeah.
I'd say my jokes are so unique. I was talking to my rabbi last week, and I was like, my fucking crisis in life, my problems and struggles are so unique and so odd. There would have to be a God that runs the world, and I would have to be supposed to be doing what I'm doing to make a living. It would have to be, because these things are so damn rare. So if someone is telling jokes like me, and they want to tell me if there's a support group, or if we have like a place to meet, I'm not going to assume you're stealing my material. I'm going to find, like, a fellow soul in the struggle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit. Comics are so worried about joke stealing, too. Lord, get yourself some problems, yo. This is what, when you're dating a comic, welcome to what we talk about.
Yep. This
is it. Can you handle that? Do you want to hear about the battle between 2 people stealing a joke about Tinder? Do you understand how many people? I have mutual friends with Keenan. I'm telling you, we get phone calls from our friends who we love. This person, da-da-da-da. This is a part of our life. If you're dating a comic, you're taking on the stupid.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, that I'm the cause of those calls.
No, not always.
Oh, really?
No. I have friends who, oh my God, did you hear? Some girl in my life, okay? There was a comic that does not like me, alright? These feelings I want to make clear, they are not reciprocated. I like this individual just fine. I have no problem with this person. Issue, boyfriend, it's about a boy. This is not there is no issue. This person and I have never ever dated, never been on one date, never so much as had an inappropriate exchange. Alright, anyway. Wrote something on a public forum, taking a stab at one of my jokes. And I thought to myself, I can turn this into a situation, or I can just be like, this is a person lashing out at me. I deleted the comment, and unfollowed this person and unfriended them, left to avoid bumping into this again. But like, other comedians would have taken that offense and thrown the fuck down so hard to the ground that this is what you hear about for the next 5 days. That's part of dating a comic, too. That's the part I don't think we tell you.
They definitely don't advertise that.
This is what yeah. And it's all comics, too. This is not, one is better than, no, they just pick their drama and in the community that they enjoy more. Like, you're getting a community, I don't think. If you're dating a Jew, you're getting a community. If you're dating a Muslim, you're getting a community. If you're dating a comic, you're getting a community. We have a community.
Yeah, which pisses me off almost on a daily with how inconsistent they are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I made a post on Facebook, because I made a joke, not so much to be funny, but to make a fucking point about, let's just be equal about shit. And, it amazes me how certain jokes are acceptable to make and others are just not, especially when it's like equal. And I've been attacking this like for a while now because it's annoyed me that fucking bad.
But I think like here's the thing. It's like when I made the decision to take on comedy as a sector of work and do my best to obtain a paycheck doing it. That whatever else I do for a living, I'm going to do this too because I feel like I have to. I feel like if I don't try to do this professionally, I would regret it my whole life. So you have to get to a point though where it's a job and you're doing the necessary steps to be perfect at that job. And it's kind of like we've talked about this, I feel like, as a group and just in general with anything, but especially if you're trying to be a career comedian when you're trying to win that 1%. And you have to realize if you're loving a comedian, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend who's pursuing comedy, their heart, while their heart loves you too, their heart is pursuing the 1% of the American population. They're not there just for you. This is bigger than sharing. It's bigger than sharing because you have a person who's trying to live their life to make 1% of the American population happy and make them laugh. Mm-hmm. It's a tremendous responsibility and struggle.
No, definitely. I think that's one of the things, and if there's the major problem with why those type of relationships don't work out, it's because, like I said up top, it's no one can fathom or even think how this industry is, from both the brutality of the industry itself to the fire and desire that burns within each comic to not really succeed, but to really just express themselves. Like that's what it is. It's that form of expression, and the grind to do that is very different than a painter or other types of artists. So when someone who's not a comic gets into a relationship, that's a real shock. It's to deal with someone whose life really revolves around comedy 100% of the time.
Pursuing their own dreams. These people pursue their dreams. And we talked about it in our last episode. These are the people, the movers and shakers of the world. People who make a living in comedy have a tremendous amount of power and responsibility. That responsibility, I'm telling you now, as someone who sets people up and who dates men, I not at the level of that. I've dated big business people. They don't have time for you. And people are like, what is that even? That's so, but I don't want, when you don't want this type of person, it's like when we had Jerry Levitt on the show talking about how he had an opportunity to travel and pursue something career-wise with comedy, and the person he mentioned, I don't think you should do that. Then you are a bad match for this person. Because this is this person's life and goal and how they want to make their sustenance and their livelihood, and it's actually the pursuit of them doing that. If you want to be with this person harmoniously, you need to support that these are their choices, and their choices in their career and profession and pocketbook require them to not be in a traditional relationship with you. You can be traditional in every other sense of the word. You can be traditional in sexuality and, monogamy and what have you. When you're not traditional in the daily care and support, your job is much harder to fulfill the needs of your family because you're fulfilling the needs. You're trying to fulfill the needs of 1% of the American population.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is why maybe, like a lot of the, most successful comedians are single.
Absolutely, that's why.
I think that wraps it up. We're all doomed to be single, but I'll trade that for being one of the most successful comics in the world. That wraps it up. Yo, anything to promote?
Nothing important coming up, but continue to like and share our show. Find us on iHeartRadio, iTunes. Like and subscribe, Al Meisels, my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter, Al Meisels. And that's all I got going on.
No title king.
Yes. Follow my personal podcast, the Crotch Shot Radio Show. I do it live, and yes, it's very interactive. I'm probably gonna try to get a podcast out tonight. I'm gonna probably broadcast. Oh, tonight. It's Saturday. This is recorded. I'm dumb. So you can follow my podcast for free on iHeart, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and podcast.com. I'm also doing a show April 16th on Saturday at 6 p.m. The more the merrier that come, the better, the more fun we're gonna have. If you guys call this number 212-726-2496, you just pay $20 with the 2-drink minimum. I'm gonna be performing live at Broadway Comedy Club at 318 West 53rd Street in New York City. Again, that number is 212-726-2496. The number is open 24/7. Just call it and say you want to see that Louis B on April 16th. God damn it! Take it away, Keenan.
As you all know, all of my updates and dates are found on my website, www.keenanweaver.com. That's KENANWEAVER. Every Sunday night, we're at New York Comedy Club, Sunday at 8 p.m., Sunday Night Live. Come check it out. Everybody, thanks for listening. Keep loving.